So we started off saying that the topic is modeling of dynamic systems. Then we looked at a small example of a jar from which water is falling, and then we written the dynamic equation, and then we did the experiment. So this is the experiment, and we plotted the experiment, and we calculated using this formula, and we matched both of them. Then the next example, we are taking a simple RC circuit. Even the RC circuit also has the same kind of result. The equation is same, and because of the starting value, the readings are slightly different, but then that is also done. And finally, one more example we have done where the same equation we have taken and we plotted. So now, before I move forward, any questions or anything that you want to ask until here, what we have done?
Any questions from participants?
Okay, so let me move forward. See, what I can do now is slightly what we done in the first session, we can improve upon a little bit in this session. Okay, so because again, as you said, the theme is simulation and tools for electrical thing. So we should understand it a little bit more complicated situation. So what I will do now is do analysis with two variables. So in this example, what I can do is the same setup. So we have a jar like this, which has a small hole here, and one more I'll keep it under that. Even that one has a hole, and then finally one more I'll keep it here, like this. Yeah, so let's call this A, and let's call the second one B, and third one is C. So I have A, B, C, three jars, which are kept one on top of the other. A and B has the hole, whereas the C does not have any hole because C is just used for collecting the excess water. So in this case, now I'll complete this. Okay, I'll start with the initial like this. So let's call this as HA. So height of A. Now HB will be 0. Okay, so the height in this will be HB and the height in this will be HC, which we don't need right now. So A and B are the two variables here, HA and HB. Now, if you see what will be the equations. Okay, so if you just simply, I'm more interested in HB now. So what happens with respect to time, the value of HB. Okay, so it starts with 0. And it also, obviously, it also ends with 0 because after a long time, all this water goes from A to B and then again B to C, and finally there's nothing left in B. So it ends, again it moves to 0. But in between, it reaches a maximum value and then slowly it goes to this. So this is the kind of pattern we are looking for. It reaches a maximum value. So this is some max value, and then it started reducing. Okay. So why it is like that? See, here there is a, from A to B, there is a flow of water. Okay, so let's call it FAB. Flow is from A to B. Similarly, there is a flow from B to C. So this flow from B to C will be very less in the beginning because there's not much of water. So the more water will enter and less water will leave, so the height will increase. So at this point, both the flows are equal, so height is maintained, and after that height is reduced. So this is what we are expecting. Now, how do we write the equations for this? Okay, so the equations are like this. The first one, it is exactly same. What is that? dHA by dt is nothing but minus HA by AK. Okay, so this already we have written before, same thing I have written. Now dHB by dt, this how the height of B will change with respect. So there is a one flow coming in and one flow going out. So the coming in flow will increase the height and the going out flow will reduce the height. So it will be like this, plus HA by AK and minus HB by AK. So one positive term will be there, one negative term will be there. So if positive term is more, then we are here, increasing the height. And if both are equal, then it will become maximum and the differentiation will become 0. And if it is negative, then it is going down and this value will be more and this value will be less. So the same thing I can write in the form of a matrix. Okay? So HA dot HB dot, okay, so is equal to minus 1 by AK, 0, 1 by AK, and then minus 1 by AK, and then finally here it will be HA, HB. So here I have written in the form of matrix the same equation. So if you expand it, you will get the same two equations, but the matrix form is more, it is like x dot equal to AX kind of format. So this is about this. We will mathematically calculate and solve it, but before that, let's do the experiment and then try to see whether we are getting this pattern or not, increasing and decreasing. So how to do that? So for that, just give me some time to set up. Okay. So I will, once again, I will write this thing. I go back to the first readings. Okay. So here, even if I do this experiment, the behavior of the first one will be exactly same. There won't be any difference. So I can say here, this is still HA. So now what I want to do is see what is HB. It starts with 0 and it will increase and it will decrease. So this is the first one, and so let me so I need 3 jars now. Okay, so let me arrange that now. Okay. So I would again need the timer. So this remains same. Okay. So next we need the timer. So that also I'll arrange. So I hope now you can see that. So here what I can do is I'll keep one bottle at the top. So let's say this one at the top. 1 minute. So this will be in the middle. And right now we are more interested in this reading. What is the readings in the middle? So I think this side it is better. And the above one will be anyway same. Okay, so let me show the full top one. So I have a first 2 here and then the third one is here. So but anyway, I'll focus on I'll try to focus on the first 2 like this. Now Okay, so give me just a second. So again, I am pouring water into the A jar. First, this one is jar C. On top of it, I'll keep jar B, like this. And on top of it, I'll keep jar A. And I will start the timer when B is 0. So initially some extra water is there. Yeah, so now B touches 0. So I'll start the timer. So here we are more interested now to look at the reading in the second one. So we can physically see more water comes from the top and less water goes down. So the height is kind of increasing. So let's wait until 30 seconds. So now 28, 29, 30 seconds. So the height is 1.5. So here the height is 1.5. So now again we continue the experiment and then notice that the height is still increasing. 50 seconds. To 1 minute. So the height is now 2.1. Slightly more. So what we are expecting is at one point it will reach a maximum height and then it will start reducing from there. So now time is 1:27, 28, 1.5 minute, and the height is 2.5 now. So within 1.5 minute, the height reached is 2.5. Still again you can see there is more height of water at the top and less height here. So that means more water will fall and less water will go down. So height will continue to increase. So that is what we are noticing. 1:57, 58, 59 and 2 minutes. Now the height is 2.75. Okay, so the height is now maintaining at 2.75. So again we'll wait for 2.5 minutes. $2.20, 25, 26, 28, 29, 2.5 minutes, and the height is still 2.75. I think now we have reached the maximum height kind of thing. Now if you notice, the amount of water at the top and the amount of water both are very similar. So that's why the same amount of water is coming and going, therefore the height is maintaining. But after some time, we'll get more water here. And in fact, if you see down, the height of this is even more. So more water is collected here. Anyway, so let's go up. I think I missed the reading at 3. Anyway, it's okay. We'll take the reading at 3:30. So 3:20. Okay, now the time is 3:30 and the reading is 2.25. So, and by extrapolation, I will mark it 2.5 in the earlier one. Okay. So now we notice that more water is going down and less water is coming from up. So therefore, the the height will be decreasing in the B, HB. Okay, again, I missed the reading at 4 minutes. Anyway, so 1.75 was the height. So now at 4.5, $1.25. So gradually now the height is going on reducing. But it will not become zero immediately. I think at 5 minutes, it will take some more time. In fact, you see the first bottle touched zero. So the reading on the first bottle now touches zero here. So after 5 minutes, which is matching with the earlier listing. So whereas the second one is at 1. Now next reading at 5.5 minutes. $5.27, $5.28, and 5.5. Okay, so 0.75 it is. So the next reading will be at 6 minutes time. Okay, so it is 0.5 or 0.4 it is. So next reading will be at 6.5. So it's almost zero. Okay. So thus we end this particular experiment. Okay. So now we have done an experiment with 2 variables. Okay. So let us do the data entry and then let's try to find the pattern. So I go back to my earlier sheet, okay, and I create a new sheet in that, and I'll start by typing time. So the process is saved, and here I will directly plot HB. So HB EXP experimental. So the time is 0. So I'm incrementing 30 seconds everywhere. So in fact, I think I need up till here. So from the earlier readings, let me quickly enter that. So it is 0, at time t equal to 0, then 1.5, then 2.1, then 2.5 increasing, 2.75, maintaining at 2.75, then again decreasing started, 2.25, 1.75, 1.25, 1.75, 0.4 and 3. So finally this is the pattern. So this is how we are getting the pattern. So let me add the points. Okay. So now you can clearly see in the sheet, it increases, achieves a maximum value, and then it decreases. This is what we have predicted. It's an equation with two variables. Okay. Now we completed the experiment and we tabulation and chart of the experiment. So the next will be to calculate. Okay, so HB calculate. Okay. So we have to calculate and write it. So how do we write the calculated value? Okay, so for explaining calculated value, let me go back to the my notes once again. So what I do will be like this. So now I want here you see, let me stop sharing the screen. No, I'm sorry, I should still share the screen. Yeah. So here I have written this kind of equation, right? So now this equation we need to calculate. Okay, so how to calculate? In order to calculate HA/HB, I have a constant matrix. That matrix is multiplying with HA/HB. Then I'm getting HA dot HB dot, and then these things again I can add back to HA/HB. Okay, so there are several ways of solving this. You can use different kinds of solvers, etc. But I will show simple Excel format. So what I will do is start like this. I'll say time. Here time step I will take 1 second. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3 like this all the way up to maybe 420 seconds, so 7 minutes. Okay. Time step I am taking 1 second. And what I can do is the formulas like this. That is HA value and then HB value. So both are required. Okay. Then HA dot, then HB dot. Okay. So this dot is nothing but the change in HA/HB. So initially this is starting with 10 centimeters, and initially this is starting with 0 centimeters. Okay. And what is the HA value and HB value? So if I go back, so here I can get the HA value. This is the HA dot value. So minus HA by AK. So here I can simply give a formula minus HA divided by AK. Similarly here I can give plus HA divided by AK minus HB divided by AK. So by giving these two formulas, I can know these two values. Then the next value will be nothing but the previous value plus the change like this. And then this formula will be same. And then I can simply drag these formulas, and finally I can get the HB value. Okay, so this I just explained. Now I will show it physically how to do it using this Excel. Okay, so you can just now continue to look at the screen. So again I go to a fresh sheet. Okay, so I'll start by typing time here. So basically we are doing numerical integration here. So I have 0, 1, and then like this, I'll go all the way up to 300 seconds. I think I'll go a little bit more. I think we have data up to 7 minutes, right? Okay, I think that is enough. So next here HA and HB. So again this is calculated, HA calculated and HB calculated. So here HA dot. Dot means the differentiation. Okay, so HB dot. So I'm starting with initial height of 10 centimeters in A and 0 centimeters in B. So now what is this? So this is nothing but HA divided by 100. Okay, so but of course I have to give minus sign. And the same formula holds for all. Similarly here also is equal to first HA divided by 100 plus, I'm sorry, that is plus minus HB divided by 100. Same formula I'm giving here. And this one will be the earlier value plus the variation. This one also earlier value plus the variation. So the simple here I have to use B2, sorry. Just a small mistake in the equation, I changed it. So now I got the calculated value of HB. So if I want to now plot HA and HB, I can show that. So insert chart. Okay, so like this you can see, the first one is common. You already know the blue color line, we already did the first this thing. Whereas the red color line is what is the interesting one. So it increases, attains a maximum value. So at this point, both are having equal height and it's exactly matching with 100. Okay? So because 100 is the time constant, at 100 both are matching. So let me delete the first one so that we can properly see the second one. Item can't be deleted. I think it is not possible to delete, but anyway, from this you can understand. Or let me separately plot this thing. So insert chart. So this is the separate plot of only HB. Okay. So it reaches the maximum height and then it reduces. Okay. So this is the what we are expecting, such kind of result we got. Okay. So again, I'll pause here. Any questions you have on this? Any doubts on this? So you should be able to model a small system with dynamic system with two variables and then get the experimental results and match it with the calculated results. Any questions up till here? Okay, so if there are no questions, then let's move further. Now, what we have done is, if you're, I come back to sharing my document. Okay. So if you come back to what I was explaining before, see, we are doing water-based experiment, and then we are doing electrical, basically the RC, and then we are doing financial, something related to money. And we are doing one variable and two variable. So in the first video, we did one variable, and now in this session, we are doing the two variable. Okay. So the water experiment with one variable and two variable, we finished. Okay. Similarly, the electrical example, with one variable we finished, and financial example with one variable we finished. So obviously the next will be this and this. Okay. So can you suggest what kind of circuit we will have if we want to study two variable circuit? So a two variable circuit will obviously have two energy storage devices. Okay. So that means two capacitors. Okay. So let us do that. Two variable electric circuit. So what we are doing here is, so let me again show you. I have this circuit. Okay, so we have already seen this circuit before. It has two capacitors, one on the left and one on the right. Okay, and then in between. So now we will utilize the full circuit. So what we are having is, there is a capacitor here. Then there is a resistance. Then there is a switch. And then there is another capacitor. And then two terminals are there here. Okay. So that is what is this particular circuit diagram exactly. Okay. So this is 100 microfarads. This is 270 kilo ohms. This is again 100 microfarads. So here on the extreme right, I connect a voltmeter. So this voltmeter itself having a 1 mega ohm resistance. Internal resistance of the voltmeter is 1 mega ohm. Now what happens, like initially this is completely discharged. So the voltage it will show 0. Okay, so this is for our purpose VB. Okay, let us call this as VA. And initially I will charge it to some maximum voltage. After charging this to some maximum voltage, directly, I will simply close this switch. So then when I close this switch, this first capacitor VA will start discharging and the voltage VA will start reducing. And the current will go like this, and some current will go through the measurement, but some current will also go through VB, and VB will start getting charged. Okay, so let's call this as IA. And let's call this as IB. Okay, so IB will be negative. Now, after some time, the current coming from when VB becomes sufficiently high, it will also start contributing current to the meter, and then again it will become low. So therefore, if I again plot the value of VB versus time, what I am expecting is it will increase and then again it will decrease. Okay, so this is the what experimentally we want to verify. Okay, so I hope again you understood this circuit. So if you have any doubt about this circuit, can you you can ask right now. Otherwise, slowly I will construct the circuit and we will do the experiment also. Okay, so let's start building this. So first I'll bring in my voltmeter. So once the voltmeter is here, I can measure the voltages. So I'll short circuit these two, and I keep it in voltage measurement mode. And if I measure the voltage, the first capacitor is 0, and also the second capacitor is 0, which is of course expected, because right now it's completely uncharged. Now let me charge. Okay, so now how do I charge? So I take the battery. So I take the battery, and now for charging here I will use these terminals. Okay. So I take this battery, and then I connect the clip for this battery terminals, and then here I will simply short circuit this first capacitor. Okay, so again we should be careful, positive, negative correctly we have to give. So I short circuit the capacitor, and now the capacitor is completely charged. Okay. How do you know? Very quickly I will just touch and then measure, so that we can verify. Have a look at the voltmeter now. I'm measuring. So 7.5. Okay. Very briefly, I saw 7.5 volts is there on the first capacitor, whereas the second capacitor is still on 0. Okay. So the second capacitor still will be 0, because we only charge the first capacitor. This one we charge, and the switch is open. Okay. So therefore there is no leakage. Now I take my voltmeter and connect it to the second side, I mean this side. Of course, again, just now what we measured, the value is still 0. So let me place it properly. Okay. Now we have the circuit, and we have the measurement on the second side. Now to take the readings, I'll prepare a small table here. Okay, so let me prepare a table. Okay, so time. So 0, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 2:30, 3 minutes, 3:30, 4 minutes, 4:30, 5 minutes, 5:30, 6 minutes, 6:30, and 7 minutes. So again, we are doing this experiment up till 7 minutes. So measurement here, and now we need timer. So I keep the timer here. So again, remember, still the first capacitor is still charged. Now the moment I close the switch, the first capacitor will start discharging. Okay? And I am measuring VB anyway, so I already connected the voltmeter. So I'm getting the value of VB here. Okay? And I will keep writing the VB value as I measure. Okay? And the moment I connect it, I will start taking the time. Okay? So how do I connect the switch? The switch is actually a kind of a push button switch. So it has some pressure has to be maintained. So I'm using this kind of crocodile clip to keep pressing that button, so that the reading can be taken. So let me connect it and start. Okay, so now we see immediately voltage is increasing. Okay, so for 10 seconds, I'll write down the one reading, 1.77. So for 0 seconds it was 0. That is one reading. I just thought I will take one extra reading. Now 20 seconds, the voltage is starting to increase. Okay, so 24. Okay. Now 28, 29, 30 seconds, 2.72. Okay, so 2.72. Now we'll still wait. Still slowly it is increasing, 2.79. Looks like it reached its maximum 2.8. 2.79. So it is maintaining, okay, 2.78. Now it's starting to reduce. Okay, so at 50 seconds, 2.79 maximum was reached. Now at 1 minute, 2.7. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm slightly squeezing in the readings, but this is the interesting part, so I thought I will get more readings. Okay. Now onwards, it slowly starts reducing. So we notice that it started off with 0, attained a maximum value 2.79, and now it starts reducing. Okay, at 1.5 minute, 2.45. So it started very quickly and then it is going down rather slowly. I hope you are able to see the experiment on the screen properly. And now we are waiting for 2 minutes. Yes, 2.17. So what I want to do later is that I want to exactly take the reading. By the way, I think we need the starting value of this one. 7.5 volt is the VA. We need that starting voltage of VA also to be able to mathematically recreate that. Okay. So anyway, so 2.5 minutes, 1.92. So 1.92 is the voltage. So I think we will go up till 5 minutes maybe. So this is a simple circuit with 2 energy storage devices, that is 2 capacitors. Again, it is not at all difficult. You will find these components very easily. And for 3 minutes, 1.71. You can easily build this in your home, and you can make videos like this, and you can teach this to your students. It is very easy, and one should definitely do this. In fact, even you can encourage students to build this. 3.5 minutes. Yes, 1.52. So let's take 2 more readings, 3 more readings will be. So at 4 minutes, 1.34. Now the objective is whatever we are taking, we want to exactly recreate with mathematical solving of this particular thing, so that we can complete the analysis. Okay, 4.5, 1.20. Let's get one more reading quickly. Okay, so 5.5 minutes. I'm sorry, I was just doing quick calculation. So this reading we did not have. But anyway, I think we got the idea. So let's stop the experiment here. And then now the next step is to try to recreate this numerical results. This is experimental result. We want to match it with the actual results. Okay, so let's take the final reading of 6. So 0.83. Okay, so I will leave it here, and let's go back to our analysis. Okay. But before we do analysis, shall we quickly type this on the sheet? I think we'll do that. So I'll just go back to I'll open one more sheet, and then I will say time, and then VB measured. So here I will write the measured value of VB. So I have the values in front of me. So 0 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 50 seconds, and then I have 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. So from here onwards 210, so 30 increment. So what is the VB values? 0, 1.77, 2.72, 2.79, 2.70, 2.45, 2.17, 1.92, 0.71, 1.52, 1.34, 1.2. So here we don't have value. So this itself I'll make it 330. And here it is 0.94 and 0.83. Okay, so So this is how we got the plot. Okay. So on x-axis you have time in seconds, and on the y-axis we have the VB voltage. It increases and then slowly it starts decreasing. Okay. Now, can we recreate this same values using our understanding of mathematical modeling of this? Okay. So let us try to attempt that. Okay. So I'll go back to my camera. Okay, so here the equations are slightly different. See, in the earlier water example, there is no impact of the second one on the first one. The first one is only impacting the second one, but second one is not impacting the first one. That's why here in this matrix, this term is 0. That means there is no role of HB in the HA. So this was slightly simpler equation. But in this, what happens? As VB increases, it will oppose the current going from VA. So that's why there will be a term of VB in VA also. And of course, VA will be anyway there in VB. So all the 4 elements will be having some value in the matrix. So let's try to once again do that. So I have this circuit like this. I'm sorry, this is not a resistor. We have a capacitor first, then we have a resistor, then we have another capacitor, and then we have the voltmeter, which itself is a resistor. So this is 1 mega ohm, this is 270 kilo ohms, and this is 100 microfarads, and this is 100 microfarads. Okay. Now let me mark the currents. Okay. So before that, potentials. So let's say this is VA and let's say this is VB. So VA and VB are the two variables. Now this current, if I mark this current, so let me use green color to do that. If I mark this current will be nothing but VB divided by 1. Okay? So VB divided by, let's call this R2. So this current is nothing but VB by R2. Okay? So this current we already know. And this current, let's call it as IA. And this current, let's call it as IB. Okay? So now IA plus IB equal to this I. So I meter, let's call it IM. So now I have like this. Now, but what is IA? So IA is nothing but, see, the voltage drop in this is nothing but VA minus VB. Okay, so this one, if I call it as R1, okay, so IA into R1 is VA minus VB. Okay, so now here I can eliminate IA. Okay, so IA is nothing but VA minus VB by R1. Okay, so here IA is expressed in terms of VA VB. Okay, similarly, IB also. So how I can express IB in terms of this? See here, I can, from this I can write IB equal to IM minus IA. So IM is here, that is VB by R2 minus IA. IA is here, that is VA minus VB divided by R1. So this one, if I simplify, it will be something like minus VA by R1. Okay. VA minus VB. So this is minus VA by R1. Then it will be plus VB into 1 by R2 plus 1 by R1. It comes something like this. So minus VA by R1 plus R1 R2 by R1 plus R2 into VB. So I found both in terms of IA and IB in terms of this. Now what is the next step is simply IA dot and IB dot. Okay. I'm sorry, not IA dot and IB dot, VA dot and VB dot. So simply we know in a capacitor, the current is nothing but C dV by dt. Okay. So this is nothing but C into IA by VA by VT, C into, this is also C into VB by VT. So dVB by dt, dVB by dt. So this is nothing but, oh, I'm sorry, let me write it in a different way. So IB equal to C dVB by dt. So now I have these two. Okay. So here I think I can replace this. So this one I replace in this equation. So I get, I mean, I'm just doing just manipulation. Please bear with me because this is just a one-time thing. Or finally dVA by dt equal to VA into 1 by CR1 minus VB into 1 by CR2. So I got one equation completely done. Next, the second one will be this one. This one. So in that I need IB. So what is IB? It is here. Okay. So So dVB by dt is nothing but, I got this already here. So minus VA by CR1 plus R1 R2 by R1 plus R2 into C into VB. Okay. So again, I got the second equation also here. Okay. So sorry for the mathematics. See, the video is being recorded, so you can always pause it and then later you can slowly analyze this. But just for the interest of time, I'm just writing like this. So I'm writing in the form of x dot equal to ax plus b. Okay. So once we write this, then it is easy to implement. So this is what is the matrix. Yeah, the 4 elements are there in this matrix, and then I'm getting like this. So now if I know VA and VB, all these are constants, then I can know how VA and VB changes. Then I can again add back to VA, VB. Then we can do that by numerical integration. We can do it. Okay. So again, let me pause for a minute here. If you have any questions up till here, please feel free to ask. Okay.
Any questions from participants?
Okay. So now what I can do now is this. Once I have this formula, this I can use it for implementing in Excel. So I go a new sheet again. So here I start with time. So let's center justify everything. And here time I can start with 1 second time step. So I'm doing it for 5 minutes approximately, or 6 minutes maybe. Then VA, VB. So these are calculated values. VA, okay, and then VB will be calculated. So initial value of VA, that is the first capacitor, 7.5. Remember, the first capacitor we charged to 7.5 and the second capacitor is 0. Next here, I want to calculate VA dot, and then I want to calculate VB dot. So basically the differentiation, okay? And I have the formulas for it. Okay? So this is C is 100 micro and R1 is 270 kilo. Okay, so it will be 27. Okay, so 1 by CR1 will be 1 by 27 actually. So here I will multiply by this, divide by 27, and minus VB divided by, now CR2 will be 100. Okay, so I'm just inserting the constant values. Similarly, VB, what I will do, VB dot, I have the equation already. So this will be VA. So minus VA divided by 27 plus 70 into 1000 divided by 1, 2. So I'm just entering the whatever we are doing the formula. So this will be in. I have to just take care of the units actually. Okay. Just a minute. Into VB. So I got the VB dot also. Next, the next value of VA will be the previous value of VA plus VA dot. And next value of VB will be previous value of VB plus VB dot. Just one last change in the formula, then we'll be done. I think somewhere we have missed a plus or minus somewhere. So this in regular terms we say the simulation is diverging. But let's see. Okay, I think there's a problem with minus sign. So here I have to give minus and here plus. Minus. So let me correct it. I think still there is some error somewhere. Let's do one thing. I think we will keep it aside for some time, and once the correction is made, I will email it to you. Generally, the idea is that the VB will exhibit the same plot as we got in the previous thing, like this. It should increase to a certain value and then it should decrease. So somewhere I think there is a small error because of which we are not able to get, but it's okay. So yeah, so again, let me go back to this part. And I'll pause for a while. See what we have done again to summarize. We have now come to the two variable case and studied the electrical circuit a little bit. Of course, we did not complete the 100% analysis. There was a small what you call minor mistake which I have to correct. That I will do it later. So before we go to the last step, any questions up till here? I hope you are able to follow. See, these all things are not new. If you look at any what you call basic electrical engineering course, these topics are already covered, like transient analysis of DC circuits. If you see, these topics are already covered. But where we are now doing it differently is we are actually doing taking a small circuit and we are experimenting it. So normally in this kind of network courses, people just simply take the network diagram and then they solve it. But building the network, getting some kind of circuit as simple as what you are seeing on the screen like this, and then analyzing that really improves the understanding a lot. Okay, any questions up till here, or should we finally go to the last example? So now, how do you formulate this last example? How do you create two variable case in a financial example, which I explained earlier? So can you suggest something how you can do that? Can anyone suggest how we can prepare an example like this? See, here I have written someone have 10 lakh rupees and donate 1% every day and track the money versus time. Okay, so let me suggest it here. So it is very simple. So this is a one variable example. So I will write now the two variable example. Let me use a different color. See, in two variables, what we do is like this. So I'll say father has 10 lakh rupees and gives 1% to son every day. So in turn, son donates 1% every day of what he has every day. So this is the model now. Okay, so this will be exactly like this one. See here, 1% of water is coming to the second one, and whatever 1% of whatever is there here, it's going to the third one. So the equations will be exactly same like this. So I'll write it here. MF and MS dot is equal to minus 1 by 100 0, 1 by 100 minus 1 by 100, MF and MS. So this MF is money with father and money with son. So these two are exactly same. 1% means 1 by 100. So here what the first equation is saying is that the amount of money will be 1% of MF, it will be reducing. So every day 1% of MF is reducing. Here 1% of MF will come to son, and again whatever he has 1% will go out. So that is again written here. So if you again write the equation for this, it will exactly match with the second string. So I don't think it is needed now because these two are exactly same. So if we again plot the same pattern, what we are explained here, that thing will come out. Okay. So I want to now finally summarize. So we have done all these 6 cases. Okay. So with one variable, with two variable, and you can still extend. Okay. So it is not very difficult. So again, if you add one more capacitor to this circuit, you can do a 3 variable experiment also. Okay. So I encourage you to try doing that, and it will be again very interesting, and you will understand real analysis of this topic. So if I again go back to the overall topic which I am saying, modeling of dynamic systems. Okay. So we did not learn any new tool today. Whatever we already know, we try to apply it and do some experiments and match with the calculations with the experimental results. That's what we try to do. Okay. So any questions you have until here? Because we still have time, I think more about 15-20 minutes I want to cover in this session. So I will quickly show a small presentation later, just now after we close this topic. So, but before I move forward, any observations, any questions, any doubts on this? This is the time we can ask.
Any questions from participants?
Okay, so since we have like a little bit of time, I will just cover one small topic, and later in the afternoon session, it will be one more interesting topic, but mostly it will be like a presentation. So we'll do that. So now let me stop sharing this screen. I will share one more screen. Okay, so are you able to see this new slide, energy audit of 5 kilowatt PV system?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what I want to do is just for the next 20 minutes, I will just cover this thing, and then we can end this session, and we can go over the other one. This will be relatively easy. So, but I thought this also will be interesting for you to see. So the first, let me go forward on this. So what is the problem statement? Okay, this is a small part of my MTech students' work. So we have a 5 kilowatt solar panel, and on that my MTech student is doing some kind of analysis. So we'll see. So the point is monitoring of large-scale PV system and analysis of data, which is helpful for future prediction, controlling of parameters such as load, automatic cleaning, and decreasing expenses. So these are some of the things. So I want to begin by showing a picture. So here on the left, what you are seeing is the solar panel. So this is the solar panel, which a 5 kilowatt small capacity installed on top of one of the academic buildings in our IIT Hyderabad campus. So this is not a daily use thing. This is for the project, this 5 kilowatt solar panel. Now in the middle, there are batteries. Okay, so 4 batteries are there. Each battery is 150 ampere hour. And on the extreme right, we have the inverter. Okay, so this all 3 things, the solar panels, batteries, and inverters together will form the grid connected PV system. So the description is something like this. We have 15 modules. So if I go back here, you can count 5 modules in the first line, 5 in the second, and 5 in the third. So total 15 modules are there, panels, and each panel is 345 watt, and the battery is 4 batteries, and inverter is 5 kilowatt. So what is the architecture? So the architecture is like this. So we have string 1 and string 2. I mentioned 15 panels. The 15 panels are divided into 2 strings. So you read one by one. String 1 containing 6 solar panels, string 2 containing 9 solar panels. So there are 6 here and 9 here. Then each panel capacity 345. Therefore, 6 into 345, 9 to 345 is 2.07 and 3.15. So total peak capacity is 5.17, or we round it off to 5 kilowatt. Now, expected number of units generated per day is about 20 units per day. That is the expected generation. Now, storage capacity 150 ampere hour at 54 volt DC. So this batteries which are there in the lower column. So these are 150 ampere hour, and the output is 50 volt DC. The red color is all DC. And equivalent to 32.5 kilowatt hour of total storage. Okay, so 32.5 units of total storage. Loads on the AC side, mostly this lab load, that is desktop workstations and all. So now we analyze the power generated. Okay, so this is in the April 2019. So from 1st April to 30th April, how the power generation is, or the energy per day is daily kilowatt hour generation. So 27, 26, something like this. So what I was telling, the expected was about 20 to 25. So like this. So on a certain day, only 9 units got generated on 11th of April. So we can further go and take a time versus power generation, and we can get a detailed plot also. So here we can notice that the power generation is not smooth. Okay? So but having this kind of report will be useful, monthly report, every day how much units are generated. Okay? So you might be having some solar panel in your campus also. I believe that all of you are belong to different campuses, and in different campuses you may be having different amount of solar panels. Okay? So try to obtain this kind of data from your panel, so that you can tell whether the panels are performing better or not. Now, if I move forward, so we have collected the data and then a little bit of plotting. Okay? So here we can see each one is a daily plot. Okay? So 5 kilowatt is the maximum capacity, but the peak only touching about 4 kilowatt. That is normal. We just because you install 5 kilowatt solar panel, it is not guaranteed that it will generate 5 kilowatt every day. So it depends on the time and depends on the sunshine. Sometime maximum reached up to 3.5 kilowatt. Sometime it went up to 4 kilowatt. But anyway, this is, you can see the daily pattern of energy being generated. So what are the data patterns we have? We have time, and there are strings, right? So first string and second string, so we can get the input voltage and current, grid voltage, grid frequency, battery voltage, battery capacity. So all these parameters are available in the data set. So weather data, etc., we can add later. Okay, so just I will show once again the entire year of 2020. Okay, so this is January 2020. Average we are expecting 20 units. So we are getting like this. Then February, March, April. So in April, slightly it is more than 20 because of high sunshine. So like this, we can get the data like this. Now, if you see July and August, we can see this entire August 13, 14, 15, all this time, it is below 10 units. Normally, we expect 20 units, but the generation is less than 10. That is because of rains. Okay? In the month of August, if the rains occur, on a rainy day, the production of solar panel will be much less. Okay? So that is what is shown here. Similarly, September. So again, it picked up in September. So even in September, there is a rainfall. I think if you refer to once again news, there are a lot of heavy rains happened during the September of 2020. So in various news channels also it was reported. So you can see. So we got the rainfall data. So because of the rainfall data, so again the September output also reduced. See, for example, September 26 it is too low. On the day there was heavy rain. Anyway, so the same pattern October, November, and December. Okay. Now one more exercise we have done is that what is the impact of cleaning of panels, okay, before and after. So again recollect that we have two strings, string 1 and string 2. So if I go forward, see power per panel I can get it by power per string divided by number of panels. So I can get that. So this is the photograph of the solar panels. Now here one thing you can notice is that the panels are not cleaned. There is a lot of dust accumulated because a lot of construction activity is going on in the campus. Lot of dust is accumulated on the panels. Because of this dust, the panels output has been reduced. Okay. So what we have done is that partial cleaning. Okay. So the string 2, you can see it is cleaned. String 1 is still dusty. Okay. So we cleaned part of the panels and other part we did not clean. Okay. So as a result, we can compare the energy generated. So here you notice this is March of 2021. Okay. So more or less both the panels are generating the same amount of power. But here on 23rd cleaning was done. So therefore the blue line is much bigger than the red line. That means PV2 is generating more energy compared to PV1. We can see clear difference. Before cleaning it was almost the same amount of power, but after cleaning significantly the blue is more than the red. Almost by about 30-40% it has increased. So immediately we can see the impact of cleaning of the panels. So again I will show you. Here you can see panels are clean. So because of that, more energy is coming out from that. Okay. So this is one observation. Similarly, per single panel we are getting like this. So again, before cleaning and after. On the left we have before cleaning and after cleaning, same this thing. So I think these are all. So we are taking the ratio also. Earlier it used to be 40-60 ratio. Now it is becoming 30-70 ratio. So the ratio of the second one increased. So this is the before cleaning, and finally all the panels were cleaned on 14th April. So now you can actually we did not clean. There was a heavy rain, and automatically all the panels got cleaned, and now it is the power is increasing. Okay, so this is a small exercise. Again, most of your campus you may be having solar panels on top. So it will be better if you visit your solar panels once and have a look at the panels. What is the situation? What is the energy? Whether dust is there or not there, and all. And latest what we have done now is installed sprinklers around these panels, and we have put one small water tank here, and the sprinklers are programmed so that automatically the panels are cleaned. So that part we are currently working. So I think this is the small presentation because I had less time, so I thought to fill this time I can show this. So any questions on this?
Any queries from participants?
Sir,
Yes.
We have solar power plant of capacity 150 kilowatts.
Okay.
It is installed on rooftop of a college.
Okay.
We have observed the same things which you have discussed, sir, particularly impact of dust accumulation, sir.
Okay.
And we are cleaning daily for getting the proper output from the panel.
Okay. Okay.
On an average, we are receiving 450 kilowatt hours per day during the sunshine days.
Okay.
And means we have observed the same thing which you have
Okay.
experimented, sir.
So 450 also appears to be slightly low. You mentioned 150 kilowatt, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the thumbnail is into 4 or into 5. So 150 into 4, you should get at least 600 units per day.
Okay, sir.
So somehow still the output is still less a little, I feel. 450 units per day is less. But anyway, I think it also depends on the season. So
Yes.
it will be better if you can collect over 1 year and then you can calculate. In fact,
Okay.
I have my afternoon presentation is campus energy monitoring. So in that we have automatically we are logging the data. I can show that in the second presentation. And not only the supply side, you have to also monitor the demand side. Okay, so how you are consuming, that also you have to monitor. Anyway, that we'll discuss in the second. But very good to know that you also having solar panels.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So any other campus have solar panels with them? Okay. So I think then shall we now end the second session now?